The Naz Show on SG1 Radio.
Hi everyone, good afternoon, and you are listening to SG1 Radio right here, right now with me, Naz. How are you all doing? Oh my gosh, my favorite day of the week, Saturday, and I have such a lovely hour for you guys. I have two lovely guests joining me. I know you must be thinking every week I say I've got two lovely guests joining me, but they are genuinely so lovely because we've got Sam joining us in the first segment, and in the second segment, we will be joined by BEE2, so stay tuned. And of course, we have our global music, which I like to call our amazing artists from around the world segment. So stay tuned, guys, don't go. So what I will do is I will start off the hour with a very beautiful Punjabi reggae dub fusion dedicated to all those fearless women out there who led the way for their families. And it is The Core by Silverfinger Singh and Manuka playing for you here on SG1 Radio.
Swenu me kaunga, jo tusi sunjaya, or Lisa Kaunga. You always believed in, put your faith in me. All you asked in return was to stand by me. You know I never tried to let you down. You told my father even when I wasn't around. I tried to sneak up the stairs, early hours of the morning as I tiptoed past. I'd always hear her calling, first to state, once you know I'd done wrong. First to protect when I wasn't feeling strong. I only moved forward with her guidance and her blessings. I remember mixing songs too loud, she would be stressing, but always smiling, especially when she saw the progress. Come back with show money, leave it by her headrest. She'd always tell me stories of the past and how she knew one day I'd take the legacy and never look back. Told me to look up and to make the right choice. She knew the young liar was on his way. She told us be strong and don't forget to pray. I always think back and remember those days, chilling outside, laughing in the sun rays. She'd always share her wisdom and she'd always give me praise. As a youth growing up, I never wanted her to change. She'd always tie my hair and say never be afraid to rise up with a light and to never be swayed. I remember waiting late, she'd be pulling up the covers, pushing me to see new things that I discover. What happened in the past and how we came here. Living in the cold with no one to wipe a tear. She provided every day, walking without fear. She said whatever happens I will always be near. I remember great times, stood firm by her side. Together as a family, holding our hands tight. Roaring like a lion with my turban with pride. Raised as warriors, never giving up the fight.
The very best DJs from all around the world, playing music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the best hits of today. Sounding good. SG1 Radio.
Wow, what a wonderful homage that was to all the grandmothers and women in general. And that was The Core by Silverfinger Singh and Monica.
SG1.
Abhishek, who is tuned in, Abhishek Singh from India, saying awesome. Thank you very much, Abhishek, for tuning in. And if you, our lovely listeners, are also tuned in, let me know so I can give you a shout out on this fine Saturday. So,
1 postcode, 5 channels. This is SG1.
So Stevenage, I have to say, may be quite small, but it doesn't mean that we don't hear horrific stories here. Like this week, I heard a dog owner was left with a head injury after an assault in Queensway, which occurred, the incident actually occurred a few weeks back on 16th January. And it was between the timings of 9:25 p.m. and 9:45 p.m. So what I heard was that a man and woman, they were casually walking their dog towards the towers. And they came across an unknown man who started talking to them. And as they passed them, this man allegedly became quite agitated and made threats towards their dog. And an argument took place between the two men, and the dog owner unfortunately received an injury to his back of his head. So the police are now appealing for witnesses to come forward. And if anyone does have any information about this incident, can you please contact PC Stephen Hill? You can contact him via email, stephen.hill@hearts.pnn.police.uk. You can also report the information online at hearts.police.uk/report, or speak to an operator in the Force Communications Room via an online web chat at hearts.police.uk/contact, or call the non-emergency number 101, quoting crime reference 413989/21.
SG1.
One thing I have to say, and I really pride about Hertfordshire for this, is that it has plenty of really, really beautiful and stylish homes here. Like some of them are so stunning. Like we've got mansions, we've got really homely houses, like cottage style as well. And, you know, I have to say, like I really, really want to buy a house, but obviously to afford one right now is a bit out of the question. But Hertfordshire does have some of the best towns and some of the best homes. And I work in St. Albans, and on the street where my office is, oh my, it has like the prettiest houses ever. But they're expensive though. Like some of them are well over $1 million. But during the coronavirus pandemic, buying a home, I can imagine, can have its ups and downs for potential home buyers. The stamp duty also being amended was a massive plus for people. But financial worries and uncertainty has made it hard for many people. So if you are a listener who has bought a house during the pandemic, do let us know how the experience was actually. It'll be really nice to know. You know, how were your thoughts? Are you worried about buying a house at this stage? Or it's really okay, really, everything is fine. But the stamp duty amendment has actually made things so much easier actually. So guys, I think now is a good time to move on to our next song.
SG1.
So the next song I have is from the movie Bomma Blockbuster, and it is Nadikuri Railanti Sodhara, music composed by our Prashant Vihari, and we're going to have Vaikom Vijay Lakshmi on the vocals here for you.
కొరుసుకులేవని కొత్త చెరువు పనికెళ్తా నా కొరుసుకులేవని కొత్త చెరువు పనికెళ్తా నా సోకు చూసినాడు నా రూపు చూసినాడు అమ్మోను చూసినాడు తమ్మును చూసినాడు మేసాలు వినాడు గల 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 పారే సెలయేరంట గోరింకల్తో గారం చేస్తూ రాగాలేంటే సిలక సుర 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 కత్తెలలాగా కత్తెరలేసి టక్కులు చేసి టెక్కులు పోయే టక్కరి మూపుందెనక సిలకా రాయలంటి సోదరా వినగడి పోసంటే నీదిరా నడికుటి రాయలంటి సోదరా నడకన నీ సాటే లేరురా ఎగాదిగాను బాటున తదేకంగా ఓ చోటున మెదడుకి మేతెట్టాలే రమారమినే చూసిన కదే కదనే రాసిన సోకులు సేబట్టాలే కలిపితే ఆరు మూడు కలపను అంటే అది మూడు జోరుగా పోరు రామోనని కథ కొడి నగవరి చూపెడదా నడికుడి రాయలంటి సోదరా పినగడి పోసండే నీదిరా నడగన నీ సాటే లేరురా
Right, guys. So that was a really lovely
SG1.
track. We loved it. That was Narikuri Railanti from the movie Bomma Blockbuster with Vaikom Vijay Lakshmi on the vocals and music composed by Prashant Vihari. So
SG1.
I literally became so lost listening to that song that I actually forgot what I was meant to say here. But no, I think now is the time we welcome our first guest. Our first guest is a young artist from Northwest London, also known as the Island Kid, actually. And I'm sure he'll be telling us why we know him like that. So let's please welcome rapper and musician Sam. So how are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yes,
you.
I always be a bit conscious when we're doing these virtual ones in case if somebody can't hear us and stuff. But so glad to have you here. So please do tell us, why do people know you more as the Island Kid?
So my first projects that I ever actually released in about 2018 was called The Island Kid. It just reflected a lot from where like I'm Tamil, so being from an island, that was one part of it. Also living in the UK, people forget that the UK is an island itself. But it was also like I was going through a lot, so it was almost like a metaphorical description at the time. I carry this like heartbreak narrative sometimes across my music, and at the time it was kind of symbolize the whole loneliness of an island, kind of like surrounded by sea as such. Damn, that's deep, but yeah.
That is really deep, man. I'm sat there listening.
That's where it came from originally, but then it kind of just stuck. The first song was called Island Kid, and it just
that just stuck with you.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
It suits you though. But am I correct to think that you're only 18? You're very young.
I'm not 18. I'm 20.
You're no longer 18. You need to update your bio then, because I took it from your bio, which says 18. Very misleading.
Where did you get that from?
From your Facebook.
My Facebook's changed. I had some trouble with my Facebook. There was like loads of trouble logging in for like the last year. So I only got it literally recently. Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay. Yeah, but I have to say, you have done really well for yourself considering your younger age. Okay, we'll just assume you're young, even if you're not 18 anymore. Oh, no, that's brilliant. But you just mentioned as well that you come from a Tamil background, and your music influences, they are more Afro-Caribbean and Western sounds. And I think it's fantastic as well, actually, because it beautifully shows the multicultural Britain that we live in. Any particular reason why you're more influenced by Afro-Caribbean music and Western sounds?
I think when I was growing up, for me, the musical part of me anyways, like I grew up not around culture as such. I grew up in church a lot. So I say my religion impacted me way more than my culture did. Given that also like all the people that were kind of around me, like my friends, family, like my culture wasn't the biggest thing. Like I didn't surround myself. It just happened to be like that with a lot of Asians, let alone like Tamil people or anything. So like culture wasn't always enveloped in me almost until afterwards when I was getting older and actually went to learn. I actually became more friends with people. So when I was growing up, a lot of my closest friends were like Africa and Caribbean, and that was the music that I grew up with. So I think naturally, like I just resonated that to it more because that felt like what I know. That felt like home territory. Only because I didn't have a lot of culture instilled in me. But then obviously as I grew up, it's a beautiful thing to have. I think to be Asian. But yeah, as I grew up, I think it's a bit more balanced now. But it's for me in terms of my musical identity. That's what it's always been like. I can't shy away from the fact that I do love some Asian music, but like my style didn't come from listening to certain South Asian sounds and stuff, which now I'm incorporating more into my music, but originally that's not where it stemmed from. So yeah, I guess that's where it all comes from, I guess.
Yeah. Were there any particular artists that you listened to whilst growing up that you felt influenced by? So
at first I was heavily like influenced by a lot of hip hop. So a lot of old school DMX, Tupac, like even when Eminem and Jay-Z were coming up, like for me, I was always primarily a rapper. So I just used to love writing. So I remember I used to study these people, like, okay, how do they rhyme like this? But then even as I got more influence, I got more influence with like bashment songs, like Vibes Cartel, the Beanie Mans, the Popcorns, and even when Afrobeat started becoming more of a thing, like way before Burna Boy even was like as big as he was now. Like I remember I used to listen to him. And I feel like that's where like the melodic side of me came in more. And then obviously in like the modern day, like I've got a lot of artists that I look up to, but yeah, I guess that's where it stemmed from.
Impressive. And are there currently any projects that you're working on now?
Yeah. So I'm working on a joint project. I'm working on a couple joint projects. It should be coming out. Are you able to tell us,
like spill any secrets about them now, or is it top secret?
I wish I could. My agent will kill me if I do, but I think what I can say for now is one of them should be coming very, very soon. That one is definitely revolutionary, I'd say. It's a word, but I definitely put it there with that project because I feel like in terms of my eyes and my opinion, it hasn't been done before. On a Western scene, let alone a South Asian scene. So I think it could be something that's big.
Impressive. And are you primarily focusing on music right now? Yeah. What was your parents' reaction to that?
I mean, I feel like we come from a background where they've come to this country, and they've come to give you a better life, essentially, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a lot of people from our background. So I understand that in a lot of our cultures, it's the stereotypes, right, that can sometimes cloud people's judgment. But I think, I don't know, like with my parents, I can't lie. Like I said, when I grew up in church, like it's like I was never not musical. So they're not seeing me doing something so wayward that they never saw me do before. Like they always knew like I was good at this. But I think it's just interesting for them to see me taking it seriously, as serious as I take it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd like to say they're quite supportive. Yeah,
and I think it's quite good because I'll be very honest, there are very few young Asian musicians in Britain.
Yeah,
it is very
the narrative needs to shift, really.
Yeah, but we do need a shift, I think, and I always do say that you can make a career out of absolutely anything as long as you've got your heart set on it. But there is some stereotyped careers that we have associated with the Asian culture, unfortunately. But we are seeing a shift. How's the COVID situation been for you? Like, what has it had any impact on you, either directly, indirectly?
Obviously, I think last year it was a terrible situation that we got all put into. But I feel like I kind of developed the mindset early on that I was going to make the best out of a bad situation. So I turned to a lot of content, putting out a lot of content on social media on a low cost efficient way. So I started doing just like freestyle series on my Instagram and stuff. That blew up. My TikTok blew up. So like, I can't lie, for me personally, did I feel the impact as much in terms of my music career? Not really. Because if anything, it actually like benefited me because it forced me to be putting out content on a regular basis. However, yeah, like other aspects of life, like even the social aspects, then this definitely.
It really does suck, doesn't it? The social aspect.
I think if anybody says they haven't been affected in any way, they're a liar in it. But
I don't know what world they're living in, I'd say. Because honestly, it has affected everyone. But I will be very honest myself as well, because everyone always says how 2020 has been a very jinxed year. It has been a jinxed year, I'm not going to lie. I'd say it's affected me different ways. But for the creative side, I think it benefited a lot of people in the sense that you had more time. Because, with creative work, you need that concentration, that focus. And I felt like that was something I got myself as well, that we developed different ways of interviewing, because before we'd be like relying on phone or guests coming in, but now I can do a video interview from the comfort of our own homes, which is really good. Even I'm doing from home, and I quite like broadcasting from home now, actually, so I'm not going to lie about that. Well, that is amazing, the work that you're doing, and I am really excited to hear about your future works. Really, that's going to be quite good, although at the moment it is top secret, I imagine. So what do you want to do after the pandemic? Any plans?
I mean, if Boris gives us an end date, maybe, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's pretty soon. So I feel like, like I said, it's just making the best out of a bad situation.
Have you thought of anything that you'd want to do, like once this pandemic is over?
I mean, I feel like a lot of musicians, we want to get back to doing like shows and stuff. I feel like that's the one part I feel like with creativity in terms of the music aspect. I know a lot of artists are suffering from like there's no tours right now, there's no shows, there's no real you can't really go out and network type thing. So it's really all kind of stuck at home what you're doing based on social media essentially. But definitely I want to do so. I want to do a lot of, I've gained a larger fan base since before the pandemic. So I definitely want to do more stuff that is more interactive essentially with people that I follow and doing stuff for them. I've got a lot of charity projects planned as well.
That's great.
To kickstart on that. But we'll see when it ends. There's no point talking about
when it ends. I like how you put that, when it ends, because we really don't know actually. Yeah, I thought you were going to say after the pandemic is over, I'm going to board a plane and go on holiday, but surely concerts.
We can do that. We could do, I was thinking about it. I was very close to during it, but then I was for me, I've just adopted the mindset there's a time and a place for everything, and if the job here ain't done, then yeah, a break is needed, but like take a break when you deserve it, kind of thing, innit? So
yeah, absolutely. So how can our listeners follow your work and keep up to date with you? Are there any social media platforms that you're active on?
yes, so my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Twitter is at Sam Noir. So that's NXIRE, Sam Noir. My Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you use to stream, you can find me on. I go by Sam S.A.M, all in caps. But yeah, you can find me all on there. Go check me out.
Great. Well, Sam, it's definitely been an absolute pleasure chatting with you here on SG1 Radio. And from myself and the team, we wish you all the very best. And please do keep us updated with your music. Can't wait to play them once all your new music is out as well. Our listeners will definitely love that.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
No worries. You take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too.
Bye.
SG1.
Right, guys, really lovely chatting with Sam here, a very inspirational young man indeed. And now I have another song which I would play for you before we introduce our next guest. So the next song I have is from the legendary super hit music producer, which the British Asians absolutely love, and we all love too here on SG1 Radio. Bali Sagu, he has come up with a very beautiful Punjabi song, giving us those 90s vibes. Kinna Chona by Bali Sagu, and this music will be featuring Vicky Mali and Devshi Kanduri. So let's give it up for that.
किवें सचमुच हो सकदा है मैनू वेख के तू थकदा नी किवें सचमुच हो सकदा है तू दिल नू महल बनाया है मैनू रानी वर्गी सजाया है सच्चे प्यार दी कहानी पूरी होवेगी चन्ना कुछ चंगा मैं सी कीता मेरी दुख ना हो गई पूरियां मैनू तू मिलिया जो मैनू इन्ना प्यार है करदा कदी रुसदा भी है तां भी बस झूठा मूठा रुसदा जिन्ना प्यार तू मैनू करदा कोई नहीं कर सकदा जिन्ना प्यार तू मैनू करदा कोई नहीं कर सकदा किन्ना चाहना है मैनू तू किन्ना चाहना है मैनू तू किन्ना चाहना है मैनू तू तेरी सूरत विच दिसदा तू जो भी करदा चन्ना दिल नालों किन्ना करदा जल जांदी ए दुनिया पर तेरा प्यार नहीं लुकदा इन्ना प्यार लुटा के भी तेरा प्यार नहीं मुकदा जिन्ना प्यार तू मैनू करदा कोई नहीं कर सकदा किन्ना चाहना है मैनू तू 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 किन्ना चाहना है मैनू तू
That was Kinna Chona by Bali Sagu. Indeed, a very nice song. And I'm so glad to see Bali Sagu is back.
One postcode, 5 channels. This is SG1.
Right, guys, our next guest is a singer, musician, record producer, and songwriter who is here to talk about his brand new song, Glock. So can we please welcome BEE2 Singh, as known as BEE2. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on your show, Naz. It's a pleasure to be here
Honestly,
today.
it's my absolute pleasure, and I know our listeners are eagerly waiting to hear about you as well. So I'm very intrigued to know, from BEE2 Singh to BEE2, how's the journey been for you for so far?
It's been great. It's been really, really good. I've had a lot. I've been so blessed to be around such good musicians and meet such great people in my time, and it's just been great. I just can't. I have no words for the journey I've had so far.
Yeah, it is really impressive. And am I correct to think that your family were also quite active in music as well? Like your uncles, in fact, were singers of very well-known Punjabi folk songs. So growing up, did you feel that you had an influence that had an influence on your interest in music?
Yes, 100%. I mean, it's when I actually saw them is when I got that spark to take a step into this. And I was very young. At a very young age, I saw my uncles, when we had a family gathering and they were singing and things like that. And I used to love the way everybody just used to be mesmerized and just watching them. And they used to play the tumbi as well. And it was just amazing. And that's where it sort of sparked in me to this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be.
Yeah, it is interesting. You mentioned the tumbi as well, actually, because there's very few professional tumbi players in the UK. So how did you learn to play the tumbi? That's really impressive.
Yeah, so at a very early age, around about 7, 8 years old, my sister bought me a tumbi because I really, really wanted a tumbi. And I was self-taught for a little while. Then when I started getting a little bit, better at it and I got the hang of it, then about, around about between 11, 12 years old, that's when I started learning from my Ustadji, who was in India as well. And then slowly just progressed from there. And then I joined a Bhangra group called the Great Indian Dancers. And they were the ones that actually took me on stage and on an international stage. And that's it. I never looked back since. And I've played with A.R. Rahman and Andrew Lloyd Webber in a West End show. the tumbi. I've played for BBC, for numerous WOMAD and international Glastonbury. I've played the tumbi there, and it's just taken me around the world, really. The tumbi's just been really, really lucky for me.
It is impressive. Honestly, you are very skilled, I have to say. And tell us about Glock as well. How did that come about?
Glock is one of my latest singles. This is just came out on Rahan Records, just came out a few weeks ago. And Glock came about, it was just the sound and the time of music at the moment is very sort of gangster, if you want to sort of, it's a little gangstery sort of sound. So it's like a trap hip hop music background. And we wrote this song called Glock on it. And the music was made for another song we were doing. But at the last minute, I pulled that song out because it wasn't just gelling. So, and we decided to write a new, fresh song, and it was Glock. And it came out really good, and people are loving it. I've had such a great response, and it's been brilliant. Yeah, it's had over 700,000 views on YouTube within a week or so. So wow. It's doing really well.
That is impressive. And I have to say that your music videos, as well as the music itself as well, it's very refreshing because we've seen genres like comedy and horror as well. And do you think, particularly with a genre like Bhangra, which is so prominent in the UK, do you think fans are always in demand to see something different or see different variants of it and something new all the time?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been into doing something new with my videos, especially visually. I'm very creative. I like doing that because I make videos, I edit my music videos, and I always like spending time on script and getting a different kind of storyboard rather than just having a car and girls dancing around, the normal sort of thing, very sort of, performance-based videos. I like having a little storyline behind it. So that's what I've always pushed for. And people have really liked and connected with me through that. So, and I always liked...
as well. I love having a nice storyline attached to a music video because sometimes for the visuals, you remember the music video as well. And they go really hand in hand. Great music video. Yeah. So that's all. I've always done that, and we've had, it just worked for us in that sense because, I'll make music videos for other artists as well. So we do that day in, day out, and we have the music recording studio, which you can see in the background, and this is where we do all our music. And and I've collaborated with a lot of good artists, a lot of, been introduced to a lot of good actors, and I've learned a lot from them, and they've vice versa. I've learned a lot from my sort of style of shooting videos, and so it's been great. Yeah, that is impressive. And as a diverse music producer yourself, who would you say has inspired you the most when it comes to making good music?
I mean, when it comes to making Punjabi music and the style of music, Bhangra music, if you want to call it, I've always listened to people like you got, Deepak Gajanchi, Kuljit Bamra, who is my teacher, who's my guru.
Yeah, anyway. I interviewed him a few weeks ago as well. Oh my God, he's such a lovely person.
He's amazing, yeah. And he's where I actually learned all my production skills from. And then you've got like the legendary people like Ahuja Sab, who's done great music, and these were the guys like Kuljit Bamra, Ahuja Sab. These were the guys, Janji Huja were the guys that were experimenting at that time, from coming out of folk sound where it was just a tumbi, harmonium, and a dolki into going into synthy sounds, like introducing keyboards, introducing drum kits, introducing other Western guitars, bass guitars, saxophones. These are the guys that made that possible. They're the ones that changed that sound, and now we're in a sound of more Western hip hop sort of sounds. Now that is what Bhangra music is now, more or less. We have a very hard trap or hip hop backing, and we add just a very slight tumbi in the music parts or the dolki in the background. So that's more background now. Before it used to be more forefront. The dolki were the actual rhythms that were writing the songs. Now they've changed.
Yeah, well, what do you think of the current scenario of the music scene that we've got right now compared to obviously back when we did have like Kuljit Bamra, who was introducing and experimenting? What do you think of what we have now, particularly with British Asian music?
I mean, I think that it's always good to have a change, and that shows that we are moving forward as as British born Asians, Punjabis, or producers, we are moving forward. So that is a good thing. I've always enjoyed that. I've always enjoyed change. I've always embraced change. So I never look back and say, oh, that was a golden era and that music was great then, now it's not as great. It's just a different time. We have different ears now. The people that are listening to music now, they are like, let's talk about just the UK scene for a minute. A lot of youngsters that are listening to our music, they are into grime, into trap music, into Stormzy, into Chipmunk, and these kind of artists are local London artists. So they are into that kind of music. They listen to that all day and day out. So for us to sort of give them something according, in those kind of lines is important. So it's important that we sort of give them that kind of sound, but with our Punjabi touch. Obviously, I'm always going to sing Punjabi music. I can't sing, other songs. I can't sing English songs or rap or things like that. I am a Punjabi singer. So my sound is always going to be that folk, as long as it lasts. I'm always going to have that Punjabi folk sound, but the music will always change, and we'll always cater for the youngsters coming up. We'll always cater for our audience, because they are always right. They are the ones that are going to make, they are the ones that make BEE2. They are the ones that, make us. So we have to go with their time.
Actually, yeah. And is there anyone particular you'd like to collaborate with in future? Because you mentioned you've worked with a lot of different artists in the past. What about in the future? Is there anyone you'd like to collaborate with, or maybe would you plan to just do solo? How's your?
I've always enjoyed collaborations as well. I've done quite a few collaborations, like in the past with the likes of Miss Booja and things like that. But now looking at moving forward, I would love to collaborate with people more in the mainstream sort of act. I was a massive fan. She's not around anymore, but I would just love to mention her name, Amy Winehouse. I was always a massive fan of her voice, and I always had this idea of a sort of Punjabi sort of ballad type of song with her singing on it. But unfortunately, she's not with us anymore in this world. But she was a person that I would have loved to collaborate with. I was a massive fan of Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, no, that's always great to hear, actually. For once, it's a very different answer, because every time I ask my guests, who would you like to collaborate with, I always have the same one, Diljit Dosanjh. So you said something different. Okay. So I was like, oh my God, really? I bet you he's going to say Diljit Dosanjh. No, that's really good. But clearly you do have a lot underway. So what's next for you in the pipeline?
We have a lot of songs that are getting mixed and mastered at the moment. We always have a bank of songs because we produce music. So there's a lot of music that just gets produced and written and never comes out, and no one ever hears about it. But we are constantly making music. So we have a bank of songs always. We have like 20, 30 songs ready. And then we just pick out the right song for the right time. That's what's important for us. So we like for now, we've got a few other songs that are sounding like the type of Glock type of song that we done originally just now. So they are the ones that we are about to pull out. So there's going to be quite a few. So hopefully next month there should be another song being dropped very soon.
Exciting. Well, that is very exciting. And are there any words of advice you'd like to give to our listeners out there who are looking to enter the music industry, particularly during these times?
Obviously these times are very, very tough for everyone. And anybody coming into the music industry, I would say it is hard. It is hard to get established. If you're thinking, the main thing is, the biggest advice I would like to give is that if you think that you are going to just pull out one song and you put everything into one song and you say, right, this is it, and you bring it out and you think that is what's going to make me a hit, and after that is it. Even if that song is a hit, you need to have another 5 songs, back up, to pull out. Because if you leave another year, start making songs, start looking for songs, people are going to forget. The industry is so fast now. There is so much competition. There is so much good music out there. You have to stay relevant. And to stay relevant, you have to have a catalog of songs and you have to bring them out consistently. And consistency is another key to this market right now. It's just like social media. If you don't post anything, you just lose followers in a matter of days.
Yeah. And sometimes you lose followers just by just within hours, maybe, if you haven't posted something. And
absolutely.
It's crazy, this whole social media game as well. But it's interesting you mentioned social media as well. Do you think people these days base how popular a artist is depending on how many followers or subscribers they have?
Yes, absolutely, they do. So now that is the time we are in. Once again, it's a social now. Really and truly, TV is not where we are, or TV is not where we're getting the viewership from. It's from our social media. Before it was how much viewership are we getting, the followers we were gaining from TV, from our videos playing on TV. Now is YouTube, radio, and anything that is portable enough on your phone. And social media, yes, people are judging artists how good or great they are from their social media followings. So that is right. You're absolutely, that's true. And like I said, consistency is key. If you are a up and coming artist, I would advise that you consistently post. You have to be very active now on social media to get anywhere, really.
Yeah, that is a really good point. And so how can our listeners follow you on social media? Are you able to share details of your handles?
Yes, I mean, my main, if you go to Linktree, Linktree/BEE2, BEE2.official, you'll find all my handles from there. I mean, but my main one is Instagram, and Instagram is BEE2.official as well. So that is the main one where you'll see all the updates, all the latest stuff coming out on there.
That is great. Well, it has been really lovely chatting with you, and I'm really excited to be hearing more of your music going forward as well. You've got lots of interesting projects. So definitely from myself and everyone at SG1 Radio, we do wish you all the very best, and thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Naz. Thank you. It's been a pleasure being on your show.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure too. Take care and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
SG1.
Right, guys, let us move on to our next song. Our next song is, in fact, a very beautiful poem. Beautiful poem by Julia Sholly, and with the very mesmerizing vocals of Ranit Shale, Break Free Tonight.
Hey, this is Ranit Shale, and you're listening to SG1 Radio.
Sparkling chimneys, sparkling chimneys in the sunset light.
SG1.
That was really lovely, and I really enjoyed that one. And it was Break Free Tonight by Ranit Shale and Julia Sholly. Honestly, time to read some messages, actually. Last 10 minutes left of the Naz Show on SG1 Radio. Honestly, 10 minutes before I sign off. But we are receiving some really, really lovely messages. And as said, we've had such a lovely show that haven't had a chance. So Nicole from South Africa saying best radio show ever. I listen to the Naz Show always. I don't ever listen to any of my country radio shows. Thank you so much, Nicole. Honestly, that has brought a really big smile to my face. Really, really amazing. And I just love seeing such positive news and positive stories our listeners have to share as well. And as said, it is always my pleasure to be doing my shows. And I really do hope that you've enjoyed listening to our guests and the amazing music that we have been playing. I do have one more song to play, which I'll be finishing off when I am signing off, that is. So don't go anywhere.
Music to blow you away.
Station for the very best DJs from all around the world. Playing music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the best hits of today.
Sounding good. SG1 Radio.
Right. You are listening to SG1 Radio right here, right now with me, Naz. Honestly, just a random query I had. Has there ever been times when you really wished that you wanted to see a particular celebrity in your life? Or, you know, it's really weird, actually, because I don't know why. It's out of the blue that just thought came into my mind. A particular celebrity that you wish that, one day I would really like to see someone. I know Nicole from South Africa is a massive fan of Harshdeep Kaur, and I really know that one day she would really love to meet her. With myself, I think there is one celebrity that I would really, really love to meet, but unfortunately he is no more with us. And I do very often think about this lovely actor that we once had in Bollywood. But for me, I think he lives on forever, and it is Sushant Singh Rajput. Forever, I think we will always miss him not being around. And I really do wish that I one day had the opportunity to maybe interview him or just sit in front of him and just listen to what this genius has to say, because sharing so much of his knowledge with us. So he's definitely one of those celebrities who I really, really miss and really wish he would come back one day. But unfortunately, it's something that maybe won't happen. But yeah, it's just something random that just came into my mind. But it is Saturday, so I will be talking about some positive stuff and what's been going on in the week. Some of you, I know, are trying to get through this lovely time that we've got. And apparently we are expecting more snow this weekend. But last weekend we got a weather forecast that it was meant to snow, but it actually didn't even snow. And this week we've heard that it's going to snow, but I don't know if it's going to snow. But I really do want to do a photo shoot in the snow, because I'm that odd person who hasn't had a photo shoot in the snow this year. And I saw on my social media, loads of people were sharing such lovely photos of them. And someone, honestly, she was an amazing woman, did a TikTok video in the snow with a sari, and she was running with filmy music in the background. I wish I did something like that, but I don't know how to wear a sari, so maybe that might not work with me. But I think now is the time where I will be finishing and signing off. But keep listening to SG1 Radio and keep watching SG1 Live, because we'll be bringing you some fantastic live interviews, which I'm sure you don't want to miss. And I am arranging these for you. And I also want to say I'm not going to be here next week because I'm going to be giving a talk elsewhere. But I'll be back again on the 20th of February with some 2 fantastic guests I've already got lined up. So stay tuned. And yeah, listen to SG1 Radio. We've got Adam's House at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. We've got Saturday night. Why am I speaking too fast? Saturday night anthems with Jack Roberts. So I'll be finishing up the hour with Kali Kali Zulfo de Pande Na Dhalo, a beautiful tribute to Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan by our very own Khalid Khan. So stay safe, take care, and I will see you guys very soon.
SG1.
जो नजर आर पार हो जाए वही दिल का करार हो जाए अपनी जुल्फों का डाल दो साया तेरगी खुशगवार हो जाए भूल हो जाती है यूं तैश में आया न करो फासले खत्म करो बात बढ़ाया न करो ये निगाहें
ये इशारे ये अदाएं तौबा इन शराबों को सरेआम लुटाया ना करो। संभालो जरा अपना आंचल गुलाबी, दिखाओ न हंस हंस के आंखें शराबी। सलूक इनका दुनिया में अच्छा नहीं है, हसीनों पे हमको भरोसा नहीं है। उठाते हैं नजरें तो गिरती है बिजली, अदा जो भी निकली कयामत ही निकली। जहाँ तुमने चेहरे से आंचल हटाया, वही अहले दिल को तमाशा बनाया। खुदा के लिए हम पे डोरे न डालो, हमें जिंदा रहने दो ऐ हुस्न वालो। काली काली जुल्फों के फंदे न डालो, हमें जिंदा रहने दो सताए हुए हैं, बहुत जख्म सीने पे खाए हुए हैं। सितमगर हो तुम खूब पहचानते हैं, तुम्हारी अदाओं को हम जानते हैं। दगाबाज हो तुम सितम ढाने वाले, फरेब पे मोहब्बत में उलझाने वाले। ये रंगी कहानी तुम्हीं को मुबारक, ये रंगी कहानी तुम्हीं को मुबारक। तुम्हारी जवानी तुम्हीं को मुबारक, तुम्हारी जवानी तुम्हीं को मुबारक। हमारी तरफ से निगाहें हटा लो, हमें जिंदा रहने दो ऐ हुस्न वालो। काली काली जुल्फों के फंदे न डालो, हमें जिंदा रहने दो ऐ हुस्न वालो। काली काली जुल्फों के फंदे न डालो, हमें जिंदा रहने दो ऐ हुस्न वालो। काली काली जुल्फों जंजीर में जुल्फों की उलझ जाने को क्या कहिए। दीवाना मेरा दिल है, दीवाने को क्या कहिए। काली काली जुल्फों के फंदे न डालो, हमें जिंदा रहने दो ऐ हुस्न वालो। काली काली जुल्फों के सदावार करते होते जवा का, बहाते हो तुम खून अहले वफा का। ये नागन सी जुल्फें ये जहरीली नजरें, वो पानी न मांगे ये जिसको भी डस ले। वो लुट जाए जो तुमसे दिल को लगाए, फिरे हसरतों का जनाजा उठाए। है मालूम हमको तुम्हारी हकीकत, है मालूम हमको तुम्हारी हकीकत। मोहब्बत के पर्दे में करते हो नफरत, मोहब्बत के पर्दे में करते हो नफरत। कहीं और जाके अदाएं उछालो, रे रे मम ग प मम ग प नि द प नि द नि प म ग म रे ग सा रे काली काली जुल्फों के फंदे न डालो हमें